The Lumberjacks ready to roll, and here's a look at the starting lineup for Stephen F. Austin. Desmond Heyman, the guy to keep an eye on. The senior leads the team, averaging better than 14 points per game. But can they handle havoc? VCU 26-8, and here is their starting lineup. Briante Weber, so aggressive on the defensive end, averaging 3.3 steals per game. He leads the country with 115 steals, and that is exactly the way Shaka Smart wants his team to play basketball. They force the most turnovers in the country, better than 18 per game. What a run for Shaka Smart in his 5th season at VCU.
He's terrific. But the thing is, Andrew, that if you can handle the front end of havoc and get into the half court, you can score against this team. They really rely on speeding you up, turning you over in the open and out in space, and getting the game in a very frenetic pace. And
Stephen F. Austin does have some experienced ball handlers, and that's exactly what you need against this style of play that VCU has.
Yeah, sophomore Trey Pinckney is really going to have a lot of pressure on him, but this is a very good defensive team, Stephen F. Austin. They just do it in a different way. They do it in the half court, not in the full court.
The fans are still filing in because our second game of the day here in San Diego between Gonzaga and Oklahoma State went so long by the time the fans went out. Some of the fans that had tickets for the night session are still filing in, but we are underway in this South Region matchup. Chance of let's go Rams from the VCU fans who have made it inside here in San Diego with Mike Jaminski and Otis Livingston. I'm Andrew Catalan. Brandenburg off the glass, and VCU on the board first.
Well, and the more efficient they are offensively, they are not that efficient in the half court, but it allows them to get into their pressure.
And now Stephen F. Austin in the front court. And here's the sophomore Trey Pinckney. Nearly a steal. Instead, Parker has it. It goes to the corner, and Gajic can't hit, but the rebound to Parker, back up and in. Offensive board by Jacob Parker, and the first 2 of the day for the Lumberjacks.
Well, he's really a versatile scorer, can shoot the 3, put it on the floor. Nice offensive rebound there, 7 rebounds a game, 14 points for him.
Senior Brandenburg, a member of that Final Four team in 2011. Nice dish, but Reddick can't finish. Long rebound out to Burgess. And now the 3 on the way, won't go down for VCU. And the rebound to Heyman.
Reddick is their primary interior scorer. Missing the easy dunk.
Walk up, fakes the shot. Nearly had it poked away by Weber. Instead finds Parker for the jam.
Well, so far that Stephen F. Austin really showing a lot of poise against this defense.
Weber's shot high off the glass, no good. Here comes Heyman in transition. Heyman other end. And he uses the glass, and Stephen F. Austin out to a 6-2 lead.
Now the Lumberjacks 3 of 4. No turnovers. I realize we're only 2 minutes in, but a real confidence boost for this team.
And now we have a foul before the shot. What a good start for the Lumberjacks.
Well, that's a great pass right there. Those two working well together. High-low action.
First foul on Nikola Gajic.
And I know we heard him in this talk, but both of us were, I think, pretty impressed with Brad Underwood and the passion that he had for this program. That man waited 27 years to get a head coaching job.
Longtime assistant, first job in D1 as a head coach, and what a year it's been for Brad Underwood and Stephen F. Austin. Graham spins and scores. Travion Graham, 15.7 points per game. That leads this VCU roster.
I think there's an opportunity really for both teams. No real size per se out on the floor. A couple of adequate shot blockers, but I would expect to be a lot of attacking the rim off the dribble.
Walk up on the baseline, guarded by Weber. There's 10 seconds on the shot clock, and that one goes into the backcourt. And a violation against the Lumberjacks. Let's take a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight. Brad Underwood, the Southland Coach of the Year, and you kind of have to give it to a guy that goes 18-0 in league play.
Yeah, that's an open and shut case, and I think if Wichita State, they've won 28 in a row, and so people would be talking a little bit more about them. But he played at Kansas State, was there as an assistant coach, went with Frank Martin to South Carolina, and landed with the Lumberjacks.
One of 3 teams to finish the conference schedule undefeated, along with Florida and Wichita State.
Yeah, 2 #1 seeds and the Lumberjacks.
Nice dish. Burgess, though, in close and can't find the range. Heyman coast to coast, and a foul is called.
Tanner Clayton disrupting that play. He leads this team with 44 blocks.
VCU already with 1 missed layup and 1 missed dunk. So that sends Desmond Heyman to the line, a 65% free throw shooter, and he makes the first, a senior out of Pickens, Mississippi, 2nd team All-Southland Conference.
And you know, we talked to Brad Underwood about that, and he's the guy, this is his team, it's his locker room, he's the leader, and he's the one who's made Brad's transition a lot easier because he bought in early and got everybody else on board. You know, to have a new head coach come in for your senior season, not easy.
Heyman no good on the second, and the rebound to VCU. Look at this, Mo Cox. He loves to throw it down, and he does right there.
And would it take him about 3 seconds to advance the ball up the floor for a dunk?
Well, Shaka Smart will tell you that Havoc is not just defense, it's offense too, although it's defense right here with Weber. The steal. Lewis feeds it inside, and a whistle and a foul going against Stephen F. Austin.
There you see right there, opponent 18, they turned over 18 times. They average 11 steals. And wow, they press 33% of their opponent's possessions.
They've led the country in steals the last 2 years, and they led the country in turnovers forced the last 2 years, on the verge of doing it for a 3rd straight time in each category. Very impressive.
Well, and Shaka Smart told us that he developed that and was an assistant under Oliver Purnell and took a lot of his theories and put a few tweaks on them, and that's how they play.
First turnover for VCU, just over 4 minutes in. Three ball on the way to Deshaun Walker, and the rebound to Rob Brandenburg, the senior out of Cincinnati. Mo Cox puts it on the floor. That one won't go down. They fight for the rebound, and it's grabbed by Connor Brooks. Now Pinckney, the small sophomore, swatted, but a foul. Timeout on the floor. Stephen F. Austin now to a 7-6 lead on VCU, the 5-12 matchup in the South region. Back in beautiful San Diego, Stephen F. Austin out to a 7-6 lead. Time now for the Powerade sideline report. Here's Otis Livingston.
Well, Andrew, obviously, Stephen F. Austin doesn't face a defense like VCU every day, so they had to do some different things in practice leading up to this matchup. Some of the players said that they did pressure-oriented stuff. Getting trapped in the corners, they would have music blaring. Crazy music, crowd hollering. They can barely hear each other. When asked what type of music, they said rap, heavy metal. It was the first time that Coach Underwood implemented it, and it was a little bit of method to his madness. They're not going to be able to communicate all the time, so they have to play through it. They may turn the ball over, but you can't hang your head because Havoc is going to keep coming at you and keep coming at you. So far, 2 turnovers tonight.
I noticed Brad Underwood said that there was rap and heavy metal, but he also said he slipped in a little AC/DC because that's his favorite group. So Underwood had to make sure he got at least one of his songs in there, but they were practicing 4-on-2 situations, 5-on-3 situations, just as many pressure situations so they could figure out in the practice.
Well, and the issue is that you can never replicate what VCU does actually. Your team or your second team can't, but you have to try to get as close as possible, just like you teams can't replicate Syracuse's zone or, any other instance, but it's a very creative way that we try to deal with it.
Graham converts inside, and Mike Brandenburg with 2 early fouls. He's gone to the bench for VCU. Here's the pressure.
And the guy in the front of that diamond press is called the madman, and he's just got to be active, and it's usually a big, and he tries to harass the guard as much as possible.
Well, they say Jared Guest is their best madman. How about that move from Walker on the baseline, reverse lay-in?
Well, he's got the highest scoring average in NCAA off the bench as a true bench player, so he gives them quite a lift.
Each team has 4 field goals. All 8 field goals in this game have come in the paint. That adds up to a 2-point lead for the Lumberjacks out of the Southland Conference.
Well, let's see how many backdoors they get on the wings, as VCU is really overplaying hard out on the side.
Tanner Clayton coming home to San Diego. Went to Rancho Bernardo High School, and he knocks down his first shot of the game.
Lift only comes in averaging just under 3 points a game, so you don't expect a lot of offense out of him. He might be fired up being back home, though.
Mo Alley Cox had position but couldn't finish inside, and a rebound to Thomas Walkup. And some contact out on the perimeter, and the foul is going to go against Jordan Burgess.
Here's the look, and going flying up in the air in the pump fake, and then using the rim, going up underneath. Excellent drive. Travion Graham way out of control. The freight train was a runaway freight train coming out to challenge that shot.
That's his nickname, Graham. Powerful body, and he just goes straight downhill, so they call him the freight train. 13:40 to go first half.
That's what Wes Unseld used to do. Great player from Louisville, and he said the shortest distance is a straight line. He used to run straight down the middle of the floor.
And a moving screen going against Jacob Parker. So that's his first here in the first half. Parker, native of Bixby, Oklahoma. Brad Underwood said he's a different cat. That was his word. He said he likes to wear tie-dye shirts, and if they have a day off, Parker is either hunting or fishing, depending on the season. But he's been a very important part of this team for Stephen F. Austin, leading the team in rebounding with better than 7 per game.
Sunshine is his nickname.
Yeah. Graham inside. Nice move.
Great individual move that time off the dribble.
Walkup runs the baseline, gets it in to Dallas Cameron. And now Parker establishes position. Pinckney thought about a 3, will back it back out.
The thing that helps the Lumberjacks, they've got bigs who really can handle the ball well and make good passes, and against this pressure, that's going to be a big bonus.
Deshaun Walker, 17-footer, won't go down, out of bounds. No, it was saved by VCU. Great job by the Rams. Now Lewis in transition, lefty lay-in.
This game just slightly different than the last game we had as far as pace and flow is concerned.
Amazing, more than 60 fouls in that game between Oklahoma State and Gonzaga. And a steal here by Weber. Leads the nation in steals, and after the steal, he's fouled. Not only does he lead the nation with 115 steals coming into the game, but he's 25 steals ahead of the guy in second place. Just an incredible season for Briante Weber.
Well, he is the spark and the heart and soul of that defense. Also been scoring well. There you see right there, and 3.4 steals a game. Now in this system, you're going to have that opportunity, but he's got such great length and great hands.
Lewis tries to force a pass, and it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with VCU. 31 on the shot clock, 12:22 to go first half. 4th straight trip to the NCAA tournament for VCU. First time they've done that in school history. Reddick with the nice catch, goes right to the hoop. But the rebound comes down to Heyman. He wants to push it up ahead. Heyman had it poked away from behind. Now Lewis dribbles it off his foot, and he stepped out, except it was last touched by Heyman, so it's VCU basketball.
Here's the look, and this is what you have to be concerned with VCU is their pursuit from behind if you carry that dribble too long. And when we talked to Brad Underwood yesterday, Andrew, he talked about wanting to beat this press with the pass and not with the dribble just because of that play.
And you saw Doug Brooks poke it away. He's only averaging a little over 1 point per game. Another poke away here. Great job by Lewis, but Stephen F. Austin able to corral it. But Brooks is playing as Melvin Johnson is doubtful tonight with that sprained knee he suffered in the A-10 semifinals against GW. So VCU playing without its top 3-point shooter, Melvin Johnson. And a whistle underneath. Stephen F. Austin out to a 12-10 lead on VCU. All right, thank you very much, Ernie. You see the bracket in the East. Virginia to play later on tonight. Still looking for the first time a 16 seed knocks off a 1. Will it happen? It's got to happen sometime, but it still hasn't happened.
Well, I tell you what, that team is beautiful to watch. I mean, they are well coached. They run their stuff on both ends of the floor, and they're going to be a tough out. They did get a tough draw with Michigan at the 4 seed in that bracket, Michigan State.
Now, Stephen F. Austin has turned the ball over already 5 times, but VCU has only scored 2 points off those turnovers.
Well, that's the thing. As Brad, we talked to him yesterday, if they're dead ball turnovers, that doesn't hurt you. He would rather see that than anything at all. He said, if you're in a bad situation, I'd rather you punt it into the stands than have a live ball turn.
Gajic is blocked by Reddick, but Stephen F. Austin gets it back. Corner, Heyman, 3. Short, and the rebound to Weber. Weber pushes it up ahead. Brooks for 3. Yes! Doug Brooks. His 10th three-pointer of the season. And that's what Shaka Smart's looking for with Melvin Johnson not able to play. A lift from Doug Brooks, and he gets it right there. Now another turnover, but Pinckney steals it right back.
I think that Brad Underwood is kind of living right on the edge of his comfort level with the pace of this game and how it's playing out.
Walkup gets the roll. Thomas Walkup, the sophomore out of Pasadena, Texas, played at Deer Park High School, and that's his first bucket of the game. Graham other end, no, and there's the rebound for Parker.
Well, for Walkup, I mean, he's shooting well over 60% since the first of the year, and that's the best in the country as a guard. There's that
Nice
back door.
cut. Gajic finishes off the pass from Parker.
Yeah, and the Lumberjacks applaud on the bench, and that's going to be there, and VCU is not going to stop the way they play.
Brooks, another 3. Not this time, and the rebound to Walkup. Brad Underwood told us yesterday that sometimes it's funny how the tournament committee matches up teams, and he thought that of all the 5 seeds, this is probably about as best a matchup as his team would get. They're not very tall, they don't have a lot of size, but they like to get up and down, and they're getting up and down right now as Parker lays in 2 more.
Well, they've been very efficient so far in the half court. They are 8 of 14. Game have not hit a 3.
And balanced too, Mike. 8 field goals by 6 different guys. There are 5 guys at the scorer's table right now. Make it 6, actually. 3 from each team. And a 3 from Brooks again. He's got his second 3.
Well, with injury comes opportunity, and for Brooks to come in, he only averaged 4 minutes a game coming in. 26% on 3, you talked about it, but that's a huge hidden offense for Shaka Smart.
Freshman out of Lake Wales, Florida, and he's already matched his career high with 2 threes here in the first half.
It's like finding $10 in the sofa, you know. It's found money.
Parker jumper, and Weber has it. Brandenburg back on the floor with 2 fouls. Hands off for Graham, followed by an in-rhythm 3, and then thought better of it. Back out to Brandenburg. 8:20 to go first half. seconds on the shot clock for VCU. Brooks again. It tipped, no good, but the follow is good by Javonte Reddick.
That's the thing, you know, a lot of times you take a three and you get a long rebound, but that one hung right around in front of the rim, and Reddick had great position inside.
There are now 7 players at the scores table set to check in. It's like a hockey line change about to happen. Gajic fakes the pass and puts it in. Nikola Gajic. Fancy stuff here in San Diego. Brandenburg other end, and he answers. How about the pace to this game compared to the pace of the game we just had?
Yeah, and that, you know, it's like a Ferrari and something that's up on blocks.
Nice cut, Gajic again, this time off the feed from walk-up. Ball movement all over the place from the Lumberjacks.
Second back door that he's gotten in this game, and you know, Brad Underwood, he referred to him as the glue guy on this team.
Graham, and that's going the other way. An offensive foul is called on Travion Graham. What a start to this one. Lumberjacks lead by 2. In San Diego with our game summary, the Lumberjacks shooting 58% from the floor to start this game. Out to a 2-point lead with Mike Jaminski. I'm Andrew Catalon. What a start to this game. Up and down the floor we go, and you have to be impressed with the ball movement of Stephen F. Austin.
No, I think they've done a relatively good job with the press, and especially in the half court, they have been very effective against the Rams defense. And what I've talked about is the overplay on the wing. You'll see it right here. The good backdoor, the good finish inside. And like I said, I don't think that's going to change throughout the course of this game.
Stephen F. Austin on their 2-point shots, 10 out of 14, 9 field goals in the paint, 0 of 3 from deep, but they haven't needed it so far. Inside 6.5 to go in the first. Ten seconds to shoot. And a whistle away from the ball. And that's going on Jaquan Lewis, the freshman out of Dixon, Tennessee. And now they've changed it to Mo Alley Cox. So the foul is charged to Mo Alley Cox with 6:10 to go in the first. Connor Brooks on the perimeter, had it poked away by Burgess. It'll stay with Stephen F. Austin, 18 on the shot clock. Brad Underwood replaced Danny Casper, who went to Texas State after last season. Coke Zero wants to know, are you a real fan? Hashtag prove it. Visit the Coke Zero social arena in March Madness Live. That one's kicked out. It'll stay with Stephen F. Austin. That one went way into the stands.
You know, I always like that when a team puts a big on the guy underneath out of bounds. Javonte Reddick at 6'9", a big wingspan. Tough to see around him. He's very active on the ball.
Yeah, Brooks, the inbounder, 6'4". Does get it in, though. And now Brooks for 3. And the rebound to Burgess. Lewis has great speed. Switches it to Burgess, who hits the 3. Jordan Burgess, a 31% three-point shooter, knocks that one down.
Well, a great drive and pitch that time. He was wide open, had a great look.
Third 3 of the half for VCU. And they nearly turn it over. Well, the shot clock was at 25.
He just got over half court.
Other end, the lefty lay-in for Dallas Cameron. Shaka Smart not happy as he has a few words for Ted Valentine as Valentine runs down the floor. Weber left open. And that foul is going against Tanner Clayton on the box out. Coming up on AT&T at the half, scores and highlights and the latest NCAA tournament news. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half. 1 point lead for Stephen F. Austin as they have won 28 consecutive games. They haven't lost since November to East Tennessee State back on November the 23rd. Brad Underwood told us yesterday he doesn't like losing. He's a sore loser. And good for him, he hasn't had to worry about it.
Yeah, no, he hadn't had to worry since before Thanksgiving.
5 lead changes already in this game today. Right now, it's the Lumberjacks by 1.
I don't care what league you play in. That's a heck of an accomplishment.
Burgess spins. Got a little too close, couldn't finish, and out of bounds to the Lumberjacks.
And we asked him yesterday, he says, does your team have a sense of what an amazing run that was? And he looked at us and no, they really don't.
Yeah, they had no idea is what he said. And for all that, 28 wins in a row, 31-2 record, they still needed to win their conference tournament title in order to get into this field. And they did that by beating Sam Houston State, one of their arch rivals. 4.5 to go in the first. Five on the shot clock. Walker for 3. And there's been some battles down low, and somehow Brandenburg fights his way for that one. Lewis steps in, now goes right to the hoop and lays it in.
We talk about closing out under control, and Tanner Clayton going for the pump fake. It's rare that he's going to block a jump shot out on the perimeter, and he just opened up a lane to the rim.
Stephen F. Austin still without a field goal from 3-point range. They're 0 of 5.
And they're setting a lot of screens up at the free throw line to get cutters down the lane.
Here comes the pressure. That leaves Clayton open. And a foul against VCU, Jaquan Lewis. 3:37 to go in the first half. Back and forth we go. And right now, VCU up 1. Always a show at SeaWorld in San Diego. 3:37 to go. First half, VCU on top of Stephen F. Austin by 1. Fantasy baseball fans, don't settle for less than the best. Move your leagues to the #1 fantasy site. Visit cbssports.com/commissioner to see why it's the best.
Well, Andrew, both of these teams average about 76 points a game, so this is a lot, I think, lower scoring than we both expected. It's been pretty action going up and down, but not a lot as a result of it. But I think if you're Brad Underwood, you like the fact you've only turned it over 5 times for 2 points. So that's really good against this pressure.
That's the stat. VCU has only scored 2 points off of those turnovers as Clayton hits the front end of the 1-and-1. Stephen F. Austin has not made a 3-pointer yet, and VCU has not attempted a free throw yet in this game. And the hometown boy, Tanner Clayton, goes 2 of 2 at the line. Stephen F. Austin back in front. Burgess, corner 3, yes. Jordan Burgess with his second 3 of the half.
And that's starting to become a key statistic for them. Lumberjacks have yet to hit a 3, 0 of 5 in this game, and that's starting to knot out 4 of 8 now for VCU.
Gaia chops off the bench, and we have a whistle and a foul against Stephen F. Austin. Fouls on Javante Reddick, and here's a look at the longest active win streaks. Stephen F. Austin, #2 behind undefeated Wichita State.
And, Florida, #1 seed, who has had some trouble scoring over the course of the season. We'll see Tulsa in the second game against UCLA.
And Wichita State already up 20 in their game.
That's what you want. Obviously, you want to be playing your best coming into this tournament. And but Wichita State, the selection committee did them no favors in the bracket that they got. That is a monster bracket.
"12 seconds on the shot clock for the Jacks. Heyman, nowhere to go, 6 to shoot. They swing it to Walkup for 3. Yes! Thomas Walkup, just his 14th 3 of the year and the first of the day for the Lumberjacks.
Well, his team needed poise at the end of the shot clock, and they certainly had it on that possession. Great find of an open shooter.
Burgess throws up an air ball. Let Upwave help you bring out your inner beast. For tips and advice on how to keep your body at its best, check out upwave.com/basketball. Walkup trying to get it in. He does to Gajic. And back to Walkup. Inside 2 to go, first half. 12-5 game in the South region. Winner to face either UCLA or Tulsa. That's the late game here tonight in San Diego. Walkup gets position, and 2 more for Walkup.
Yeah, he really has all facets of the game. You have to respect his jump shot. That sets up his drive.
7 points for the sophomore. Chance of SFA from the fans here as Reddick flies in for 2.
We talked about it. That was pretty good pressure in the half court by Stephen F. Austin, and I thought VCU did a great job of handling it. Terrific drive by their center.
Parker launches, does not connect, and the rebound to Graham. Inside, 1 minute to go. Graham had it stripped by Walkup, and now Parker in transition. Back to Parker! 3-point lead for Stephen F. Austin. They haven't turned the ball over in more than 11 minutes against the havoc of VCU. Shooting 58% from the floor is Stephen F. Austin. Difference of 12 seconds between game clock and shot clock. Lewis corner to Graham for 3. Doesn't get it to drop. Shot clock turned off. One last possession for Stephen F. Austin.
Really nice job of Pinckney coming in at the end. That ball up for grabs.
And Brad Underwood will call a timeout. 9.1 on the clock. One more shot for Stephen F. Austin. 9.1 on the clock. VCU down by 3, but how about some of the hustle plays in this first half?
Well, this is what Shaka Smart demands. Maximum effort, diving on loose balls, tracking things down, and this is how this defense survives and works. And they even have a drill that tries to replicate this. Guys diving all over the place, and even Shaka Smart taking part in the drills.
That was shoot-around, by the way.
That was shoot-around.
Not practice. That was a shoot-around.
That was as high energy a shoot-around as I've seen, and he talks about how his elbows are always dinged up during the year.
Final 3 seconds. Parker from deep. It's good! Stephen F. Austin by 6 at the break. A 10-2 run to close it out. They've won 28 straight games.
Beautiful play. A little down screen coming up between the double screen, and he had a straight to Parker. Terrific look. We talked about it. 47% from 3. And this team has got a lot of momentum going into the second half.
Parker leads all scorers with 11 points, 5 of 7 from the floor. And let's go to Otis Livingston.
Coach, a great minutes there. Jacob Parker with that 3 to put you up 6. Obviously, you did some things in practice this week with the music blaring, the AC/DC, the rap. How do you feel your team has handled the havoc so far? Just 5 turnovers.
Well, for the most part, we've been pretty solid with it. We had a couple little lapses, but we're halfway through. We've got another 20 minutes to go, and we've got to stay as mentally tuned in as we were that first half.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Only 5 turnovers in that first half, none in the final 12 minutes for Stephen F. Austin. They lead at 36-30. We'll send you to AT&T at the half after these messages. You are watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Take a look at some of the first half numbers. Only 2 threes in that first half for Stephen F. Austin, but Parker closed out the first half with 1 of those 2 threes. Moments ago, Otis Livingston caught up with Shaka Smart.
All right, Coach, Stephen F. Austin committed 5 turnovers in the first half. How do you think they're being affected by your pressure defense?
Well, those 5 turnovers were all early in the game, and then they did a great job for the latter part of the half. We've got to get our intensity back up to the VCU level and really decide that we want to be the tougher team. I thought Stephen F. Austin really got us on our heels for most of that half.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Best of luck in the second half.
And Shaka Smart said it right there. Later part of the half, they didn't turn him over. In fact, 19 straight possessions for Stephen F. Austin without a turnover to close out that first half. Underway in the second.
Well, I'd hate to see that other gear if VCU could hit it. I thought they were pretty intense in the first half.
Walk up inside, swatted by Reddick. And a good start defensively for VCU.
Yeah, he is the rim protector out there for the back of that to pressure.
Graham can't get it to go, and the rebound to Desmond Heyman. Heyman lost it. Parker regathers with 17 on the shot clock. Gajic drives in, and he draws the foul. Shaka Smart did not like that one, but it goes against Briante Weber.
Gajic, I want to see, too, as this second half unfolds, Andrew, how many back doors that SFA gets, because that was there for them, and I expect the pressure by Virginia Commonwealth to get amped up in the second half.
Gajic spent 2 seasons at Jacksonville College, now in his senior year for Stephen F. Austin. Located in Nacogdoches, Texas, the oldest town in Texas.
A little history to the broadcast.
Gajic is 69% free throw shooter, and he makes the first. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com.
As you said, I mean, it's very few fouls and free throws in this game. Only the 8th and 9th attempt for the Lumberjacks. VCU yet to go there.
And this is the largest lead for Stephen F. Austin. They're up by 8. Reddick not able to corral it and walk up, but he walks away with it.
But against this team, that's nothing. I mean, there's going to be so many possessions in this second half. 8 points can go away in a hurry.
VCU averages 70 possessions per game, which is 21st in the country. Pinckney gets position and lays it in. The sophomore, Trey Pinckney, and it's a 10-point lead for the Jacks.
Well, unusual for him. I mean, he's one of 3 players in the NCAA that has more assists than points. But looking for his offense, he saw the lane. We've seen how many baseline drives have we seen?
14-2 run. Reddick lost it going up, and Gajic comes away with it. Burgess got a hand on that one, but Stephen F. Austin able to reset with Heyman. Cross court to Parker, that's a 2, and it's off the mark, and Weber the rebound. Brandenburg hangs, nowhere to go. Gets it back. Shot clock does not reset, 20 to shoot. Graham has wide open space and puts it in.
Well, it is amazing to me that they haven't taken a free throw in this game as much as they've attacked the rim.
Travion Graham, first team All-Atlantic 10, averaging 15 and 7 this season. And a foul is called on VCU. Ted Valentine making the call.
Rob Brandenburg.
And for Brandenburg, that's his third. He had 2 early fouls, went to the bench, but then came back in to close out that first half. And Brandenburg's going to stay out there with the 3 fouls. Briante Weber takes a seat on the bench.
Really nice defensive play by Graham. One-on-one, got the block.
UNC and Providence going down to the wire on TNT, as you see at the top of your screen. And a sarcastic cheer from the VCU fans here in San Diego as the call goes against Stephen F. Austin. And Weber, that was a quick breather. He's right back out on the floor. Now Brandenburg will go to the bench with the 3 fouls.
Yeah, that'd be a tough Friday for the ACC if Providence holds on for that win.
I'd say so. Virginia to play coming up. Duke already lost to Mercer. That's a 3 ball. That's short. Out of the hands of Graham, but the follow is there for VCU. Briante Weber, and now here comes the full court pressure.
And let's see, if this type of defense just wears on you, and we'll see how SFA handles this in the second 20 minutes, whether their legs give in, there's a little fatigue, and they start to become a little loose with the basketball.
Brooks slipped, and Walkup can't save it.
Well, you know what? He could have saved it, but it would have been really risky, and that's exactly the type of play we talked about early on. It was just eating the basketball and having a dead ball turnover than taking a chance and having it turn into 2 points.
First turnover in 25 trips, and Brad Underwood said, I'd rather they just throw the ball in the stands than try to save it and put it back in the court. Does not want VCU to get those points off turnovers. Burgess can't hit, but the follow from Reddick. And VCU on a charge here with 6 straight points.
And the Rams really starting to get after it on the offensive glass.
Six offensive rebounds in this game for VCU.
They get 10% of their points in that fashion. Pretty good production.
10 seconds on the shot clock for the Jacks. Cross-court pass, Pinckney. Now he drives in. Tied up, lost it. 3 on the shot clock. It is not reset. It goes out of bounds to VCU. A 6-0 run for VCU. They are making a charge here in San Diego, and they trail the Lumberjacks by 4. 15-11 to go in the second half. VCU on a 6-0 run, and this is what Stephen F. Austin has to do just to try to get the ball. Look at all the passes they make.
Yeah, Brad Underwood talked about it. He talked about it beating it off the pass instead of off the dribble. They did put it on the deck a couple of times, but for the most part, they used good, crisp passing, and Deshaun Walker winds up with a nice layup inside.
Well, Mike, as you pointed out a couple of minutes ago, VCU getting it done on the offensive glass here. They had 3 offensive rebounds in the first half, already 3 this half. And a foul out on the perimeter, charged to Connor Brooks, and that's his first. Well, Shaka Smart said we got to take it up another level. I think you're seeing that here over the last couple of minutes. Very active on both ends of the floor for VCU. A 26-8 record this season, 12-4 in the A-10.
I think the A-10 really undervalued. That was a very competitive league this year.
6 teams got into the tournament for the first time. And a steal here by Gajic. And he'll go to the line. Gajic leads the team in steals with 48 coming into the day.
Yeah, great job anticipating that, shooting the passing lane. Didn't get the finish. Took a foul. It was an awkward foul, and try to make that layup.
And Mike, that's 4 on Brandenburg, the senior out of Cincinnati.
Well, you questioned her, and we talked about it when that third one was called, and I looked over at Shaka Smart, and he was looking at his assistants, and he decided to hang with him. But this is a very tough style to play smartly with 3 fouls if you're going to give maximum effort.
And as we mentioned earlier, Melvin Johnson, the team's leading three-point shooter, has not come off the bench. He has a sprained knee. He was doubtful. Now he's in uniform, but it doesn't look like he's a part of Shaka Smart's plans today.
Yeah, and I think he might be. There's a chance, and this is they say he might be ready for Sunday should they get through this game. But it's every time that the Rams kind of push it in, it seems like they have an answer for it.
Ali Cox for 2. He is a handful.
Yeah,
6'6", 250.
Yeah, he's not very tall, but he takes up a lot of space inside.
8-1 run for VCU. Chance of defense from the VCU fans here in San Diego. Turnaround by Walker is short. Gajic with the offensive board. And a fresh shot clock for SFA.
Just under 5 rebounds, pretty good for his position. He just seems to have a real nose.
Weber leads the country in steals. In this one, he cannot convert.
Again, another example. We talked about it, 5 turns in that first half, only 2 points. Another turnover that they came up empty on.
They are not capitalizing off these turnovers. Just 4 points off turnovers. Here's another one, though. Weber, Lewis, 3-ball, book it! Jaquan Lewis from deep, and that ties the game at 41.
38% on the year for him from 3. Confident he had board coverage. Doesn't take a lot of threes, but turns it over a pretty good percentage.
Already 4 turnovers this half by Stephen F. Austin, and now Parker in trouble again. And a backcourt, a 10-second violation rather. Shot clock at 25, and they turn it over again.
Talked about the war of attrition. Showing a little fatigue, sinking over the Lumberjacks.
Five turnovers this half for Stephen F. Austin.
But still, even that, a dead ball turnover. You get to come back and set your defense up.
A lot of contact there, and Walker is the guilty party. Deshaun Walker, the senior from Silver Springs, Maryland. Three fouls on each team so far in the second half. Inside 13 to play. The 12-5 matchup in the South region. Mo Ali Cox going to the ground. Is not able to put that one in. They fight for it. It's tipped out. 2-on-1 the other way. Walker for 2.
I love watching guys play. I mean, I can understand now why he's the glue guy. He's made some big-time plays.
Lewis at the other end, and the foul! Shaka Smart leaped in the air. He is all fired up on the VCU sideline.
That was like a 30-inch vertical on this in street shoes. Great finish off the break. You see the energy. I tell you, I've been to a lot of those practices beforehand, and there have been that was as much energy as I've seen in one of those pregame practices.
And it wasn't just because they're here on the big stage in the NCAA tournament. This is the way that they practice. This is the way they do their shoot-arounds. Guys diving on the floor all over the place. And you can see it paying off into some big-time hustle plays tonight for VCU.
And it starts with their head coach, Shaka Smart.
Rams now up by 1 after the three-point play. And another turnover as Walkup stepped on the line.
Brad Underwood wanted a foul on that play, but he just ran out. We talked about using the sideline and the baseline as another defender, and he just slipped.
And Brad Underwood needs to slow things down. Timeout, Stephen F. Austin. They trail by 1.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Otis Livingston here at the San Diego Regional, where VCU has just taken a 1-point lead over Stephen F. Austin. Moments ago, we saw Shaka Smart show off his vertical after a made basket to give VCU the lead, but that's nothing new. He actually gets involved in practice, intense, dribbling the ball up against the defense, also playing defense. He also, in the offseason, implemented a Navy SEAL training program for his team. Everyone in the program takes part. He says it's all about team building, getting players out of their comfort zone, toughness, togetherness, and communication. And they are starting communicating right now. 1-point lead, 12:21 left, guys.
And notice when you say everyone takes part in that Navy SEAL training, everyone takes part, right down to the sports information director who told us yesterday he was huffing and puffing for 2 weeks after they were done. But that is just part of the chemistry of this VCU program.
But he emphasized, I finished.
I finished. He's like, I finished last, but I finished. Well, VCU this half, 6 field goals by 5 different players. And they have now taken a 1-point lead. And make it 3. Javante Reddick with authority there.
Well, they've been a lot better in the half court offensively, too. It's an area that they haven't been as efficient.
Turnover and 2 more. The lead is up to 5. It's an 18-3 run for VCU.
Yeah, and it's the Lumberjacks look like they're starting to wilt a little bit.
Another turnover. Weber will shoot it. He's got it. And a timeout, Stephen F. Austin. What a flurry from VCU. You want to know what havoc is? How about 3 field goals in 27 seconds for VCU?
Yeah, and another good timeout by Brad Underwood, but that's you talk about the cumulative effect of playing against this type of pressure just in the last 2 or 3 minutes, really starting to show up.
Walkup just gets it in. And now they set up position in the front court. Walker nearly lost it. Over to Parker, and he lost it going up. VCU in transition. Look at the speed of Lewis. Trying to use the glass, can't. And the loose ball rebound to Walkup. And a foul. And that's going against Jaquan Lewis. Timeout on the floor. VCU up by 7. A sigh of relief for the ACC. Thank you very much, Ernie. North Carolina awaiting the winner of Iowa State and NC Central.
Now, James Michael McAdoo has been shaky at the free throw line all year long, just over 50%, so that's not a surprise. But Marcus Page has made so many big shots for that team over the course of the year.
Well, VCU has scored 20 points in the last 6.5 minutes. They had 30 at halftime. Inside 11 minutes to play. And one of the big differences, Mike, 9 turnovers this half for Stephen F. Austin. And VCU has capitalized, scoring 11 points, something they did not do in the first half.
Well, and the thing, too, is they've had very few possessions in the half court. I'm talking about SFA. The miss right there.
And Weber is fouled on the rebound. That's the second foul on Gajic.
It's amazing that with VCU that they can play this style and play it with not fouling a lot.
What also helps is the number of substitutions. They have 55 per game, which is the 4th most in the country. The national average is 31, so Shaka Smart constantly getting guys in and out.
Well, it's a lot like hockey. You know, you just want maximum effort on a shift, and then you come out and you get a rest.
It really is. Weber. Now Trevion Graham to the hole. Yes. Trevion Graham in double figures. He's got 10 points. Double figures for the 32nd time this year.
They had to feel that without a rim protector out there, that they would be able to get to the hole, to get up to the rim whenever they wanted.
Heyman can't hit that one. Offensive rebound. Stephen F. Austin only has 7 points in this half with 9:40 to play. Gajic will take that. And it's tipped out right to Pinckney. Fresh 35 for Stephen F. Austin.
This is looking like a very tired team right now. Their cuts are not as crisp as they were in the first half.
And a foul is called against VCU. It's the second one on Travion Graham. Temple Hills, Maryland. Gajic goes to the bench and Brooks back in for Stephen F. Austin. They're shooting just 2 of 9 this half. Timeout on the floor here in San Diego. Back in San Diego with our tournament summary, and the 12 seeds 2-1 so far in the tournament. Wins by Harvard and North Dakota State, and one more 12 seed to go, and that is Stephen F. Austin. They had a 6-point halftime lead, but VCU on a surge here in the second half, pulling from 52 to 43. With Mike Jaminski and Otis Livingston, I'm Andrew Catalan. Brad Underwood, his first season at Stephen F. Austin. And now his team on the comeback trail.
This is a big possession coming out of a timeout, and a giveaway foul right there, but Lumberjacks need to see the ball go through the basket to regain some sort of confidence to play against this team in the half court.
Just 22% shooting in the second half for the Jacks. Without a field goal in more than 3.5 minutes. Heyman drives, partially blocked by Mo Alley Cox, and VCU has it.
Well, it's good help defensively that time.
Mo Alley Cox puts it on the floor and lost it, but out of bounds. Last touch by Stephen F. Austin.
Here's the play, the pressure, and then just coming out of nowhere, Alley Cox making a terrific block, keeping it in bounds and keeping possession.
VCU has just one player in double figures. It's Graham with 10. A balanced attack for these Rams, the number 5 seed in the South. Seven seconds on the shot clock. Graham spins to the hoop. Pretty stuff. Travion Graham.
Well, he's the only guy who averages double figures and that's playing right now. Melvin Johnson, the other one, out, so they've had to balance things out.
Another look at this one, certainly worthy of it.
Yeah, great spin move, was able to keep his footing. Good finish.
Shaka Smart was telling us that Travion Graham's only other scholarship offer was from Cleveland State. So he had 2 offers to choose from, went with VCU, and he has used that as motivation now here in his junior season. He knows a lot of other schools overlooked him.
I think this team, this coach, they all like to have that chip on their shoulder. They had it when they went to the Final Four a few years ago and carried it with them.
Watch live games on your Amazon Kindle, Android device, iPhone, iPad, or computer with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. Another thing for VCU, they have gone from the hunter to the hunted, and they have a target on their back, and it's a different role for them, and I think they've slowly adjusted to it.
Well,
not an easy adjustment.
A team that we saw that's not dissimilar to that, but with a longer history is Gonzaga. You know, they were the quintessential mid-major when, 10, 15 years ago, but now they're a premier program.
Weber can't get it to go. Walk up in transition now. Inside 8 minutes to go. Heyman tied up and a jump ball. Possession arrow favors VCU. 7:52 to go in the second half. VCU 54, Stephen F. Austin 45. Our game summary, Stephen F. Austin really struggling in this second half. They've only scored 9 points since halftime, and VCU has ratcheted up the defensive intensity, Mike.
Well, we showed the graphic earlier about they lead the NCAA in steals, 11 per game. They're at 9 right now, 5 of them by Briante Weber. And the key thing is they're starting to convert them into points. 11 points off of turnovers in this half.
10 turnovers this half for the Lumberjacks. And VCU has surged ahead in this one. They lead it by 9. Now some pressure from Stephen F. Austin, nearly a turnover, but Weber recovers. Now to Graham. Burgess blocked from behind. Tanner Clayton got a hand on that one. Shot clock does not reset. 8 to shoot. Weber, corner, Lewis, 3. And the tip is good. Javante Reddick with 2, and it's 56-45. And a timeout called for by the Lumberjacks.
Again, that pressure and just unrelenting.
VCU outscoring Stephen F. Austin 26-9 in this second half, and they've opened up a double-digit lead on the Lumberjacks. Points in the paint this half, Mike, 22-4 in favor of VCU.
Well, and it's not only been the turnovers too, but VCU has really been climbing over the offensive glass as well. Second chance opportunities to tip in on that 3, the last possession.
And now the Lumberjacks only have 1 timeout remaining with 7:10 to play. It's a 15-2 run for VCU. They just get it across, nearly another 10-second violation. Gajic back into the game for the Jacks. 10 on the shot clock. Walk up, nowhere to go, lost it, and a foul is called. So that one bails out Stephen F. Austin.
What a difference in a half, Andrew. I can't remember a possession for the Lumberjacks that's run smoothly and resulted in an easy basket of some sort.
Stephen F. Austin does not have a field goal in more than 6 minutes now. Walk up at the line. 74% this season. 1-1, won't go down. Rebound though to Gajic. Back out Heyman for 3. Big shot. The Jacks desperately needed that one.
Yeah, we talked about it again, and then Gajic making that play, the offensive rebound off the missed free throw, which Shaka Smart can't be happy about, but he get an open look.
And now a whistle. Teddy Valentine blowing the whistle, and that's on walk-up. Well, Stephen F. Austin with its first field goal in 6 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah, and a nice look. Heyman lining up 35% from 3, and finally a glimmer of hope for this team. Still down 8, but just good to see the ball going through the basket.
Lewis baseline and a foul on Stephen F. Austin.
Lumberjacks going zone on that possession. To do that, you can't give up the baseline. Good drive by Jaquan Lewis, 80% free throw shooter.
Third foul on Jacob Parker. And a 1-1 for Jaquan Lewis. Get the most complete coverage of every team in your bracket and the tournament's best moments with the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report. Fuel your passion with Team Stream on your iPhone, iPad, or Android device today. Lewis 2 of 2 at the line, and he's got 10 points. What a nice spark off the bench.
That's only his second double-figure game in the last 12, so a good lift. We were talking about guys who's going to come in and pick up the slack for Melvin Johnson. Well, Daquan Lewis is giving them a nice boost.
8 of Lewis's 10 points in this second half as Travion Graham heads to the bench for VCU. Another substitution for Shaka Smart. And more trouble in the backcourt for the Jacks. And a turnover. Number 16 today for Stephen F. Austin.
Well, they only had 2 seconds left to get it over. It would have been a 10-second violation anyway.
Allie Cox now as the rotations continue for VCU. 11 turnovers this half for the Lumberjacks. Make it 12.
You need a Navy SEAL training camp to be in to get in the kind of conditioning that these guys are to have to play this style.
Graham the rebound. He lost it going up, out of bounds to Stephen F. Austin. We'll talk about all the substitutions for VCU. Stephen F. Austin used one starting lineup the entire year. One of 8 teams to do that in the country. And last year, Stephen F. Austin used one starting lineup the entire year. Seven-point game.
Nothing more that a coach likes than continuity and knowing who's going to be out there night in and night out. So that is a luxury that obviously not a lot of teams have.
Heyman underneath. They work it around to Walker for 3. Rebound to Reddick.
At least again, you ran your set well and got a good shot. Didn't knock it down.
Reddick is 3rd on VCU's all-time rebounding list. The senior out of Winston-Salem. He's got 6 boards today as VCU tries to advance to the 3rd round on Sunday against the winner of UCLA and Tulsa, still to come later tonight here from San Diego. 5 on the shot clock. Mo Alley Cox couldn't get a handle on it. Weber now has to put one up, and he doesn't. Shot clock violation.
That zone giving VCU a little problem. That there's not a lot going on in that possession offensively. The ball moving around a little bit, but no bodies moving, no ball movement.
Walk up, nice dish to Parker. Great vision by Thomas Walkup.
Yeah, and interesting, they just cleared out and let him go one-on-one off the dribble, and he made a nice full-court play.
Talked a lot about the turnovers that VCU has forced, but don't forget, Stephen F. Austin, 7th in the country, forcing 16 turnovers. Well, today they've only forced 8, and they need to force a few more as VCU calls timeout with 3:59 to play. Coming up next on True TV, 13th seeded Tulsa against number 4 UCLA. A great matchup. Of course, Kyle Anderson, one of the premier players in the country, averaging nearly a triple-double. He's the closest man in the country to a triple-double, but Tulsa led by Danny Manning. Moments ago, coming off the bus, getting set for the 4th and final game of the day here in San Diego. 3:59 to go in this one. VCU holding on to an 8-point lead. They've outscored Stephen F. Austin in this second half, 28-14.
And a couple of head coaches that know something about winning championships in this tournament. Danny Manning and Steve Alford.
Danny Manning. Weber, 18-footer. No. Offensive rebound to Graham. Kept his feet. And a foul on Pinckney. Final media timeout of this ball game. VCU trying to hold on down the stretch. All right, Ernie, thank you. The winner advances to take on Memphis this Sunday. We've seen these 16 seeds really put up some fights. You saw Albany fight against Florida yesterday. And even earlier today, Weber State gave Arizona a little bit of trouble at times before the Wildcats pulled away in the second half. At the line for VCU is Travion Graham. Over 1,000 points in his career, just a junior, 34th player at VCU to reach the 1,000-point milestone.
Yeah, 500 rebounds and 100 threes made, too. Kind of an odd combination.
Well, is your bracket already busted, or did you not get your bracket in on time? It's not too late. Join the Capital One NCAA March Madness round-by-round game now at ncaa.com/round-by-round. Graham comes out, and Burgess back in. It's a 10-point lead for VCU.
And that's what wears it wears you down mentally as well as physically. And this pressure, I mean, you just look up and say, really? I mean, you still in my face? And it's 40 minutes.
Walk-up is blocked, but they're going to count the basket. Goaltending against VCU.
Now they're going to try to turn the tide, and the Lumberjacks applying some full-court pressure, seeing only a 3-possession game still at this point, hanging around.
First points of the half for Walk-up. SFA down 8. And remember, they only have 1 timeout remaining. Now, Graham, 10-second violation.
How about that? How many times have you heard it that the teams that press don't like to be pressed? Good look, and just right there, Graham going off his foot, and that's what caused the 10-second count. They still had 2 seconds to get it over half court.
So the ball back to Stephen F. Austin, 3:03 to go. 8-point game. Heyman gets it to Walk-up. VCU trying to end Stephen F. Austin's 28-game win streak. Parker, 3! And it's a 5-point game with 2:50 to go.
Great pick and pop by Jacob Parker. We talked about it, 47%. They cleared out the side, and he had a clean look.
They get it across this time with 2:40. Graham backs it out. VCU will take its time as Shaka Smart calls out a play on the sideline. It's a 10-4 run for the Lumberjacks. Ten seconds to shoot for the Rams. Weber threw it away. Back to Stephen F. Austin. Parker, a 46% three-point shooter, and a big one here.
Well, there you see, and it's right in front of the bench. You see the team stand up. What a huge emotional lift that shot was. All of a sudden now the body language for the Lumberjacks changing. They're a little energized.
And VCU has turned it over 3 of its last 4 trips. They break the pressure here. Walker, baseline, and that one will count. And we've got a 1-possession game, and Javante Reddick down on the ground for VCU.
I tell you what, and it's an interesting call for Brad Underwood, but I'm keeping the pressure up.
If I'm clear goaltending, and then after Reddick went to the ground.
Yeah, that was a strong drive too. Yeah, he got undercut by his own man, and looked like Allie Cox got underneath him, and he took a tumble, hit the deck hard. You see it right there. Yeah, he just came flying in and got his hip caught and got in a bad position, landed right on the small of his back.
Remember, VCU already without Melvin Johnson. He sprained his knee in the A-10 semifinals. Has not played tonight. Was listed as doubtful before the game. And now Reddick walks off. Good sign. Did it under his own power. And he's going to stay in the game.
Yeah, and I like this right here. I mean, Brad Underwood, he's just going to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, Reddick can't. Well, now they're just going to switch the inbounder. Reddick stays in. And Graham will inbound. 2:04 to go. 3-point game. Graham right to the hoop for 2.
What a great individual move by Graham. Off the dribble, breaking the press by himself.
Graham has 16 points. Back up to a 5-point lead. 10 of Graham's 16 in this second half. Do the Jacks have an answer with 1:35 to play? Heyman with 14 on the shot clock. Heyman to the free throw line, and he's fouled. Another look at Graham going coast to coast.
Travion Graham, he faked the pass inside to Reddick and took it all the way. Good handle.
And that last foul on Rob Brandenburg, that is his 5th. So the senior has fouled out of this game. Only 2 players were on VCU's Final Four team in 2011. Brandenburg and Javonte Reddick now in their senior seasons. And Brandenburg hoping his teammates can ensure this is not his final game.
Well, and they, I tell you what, VCU has really kept Desmond Heyman in check. We have not said his name a lot in this game. With a big 1-on-1 right here.
Yeah, 6 points tonight for Heyman. He leads the team on the season, averaging better than 14. 1-1 for Desmond Heyman. Makes the front end. Just the 2nd NCAA tournament appearance for Stephen F. Austin. 2009, the only other time they lost in the round of 64 to Syracuse. They were a 14 seed, a 12 seed here. And given VCU all can handle a 3-point game when 1:20 to go. Stephen F. Austin has scored on its last 5 trips.
Nearly a double dribble. Shaka Smart wants his team to run a little clock here on this possession. They have had issues with the zone.
Graham has 10 to shoot inside, 1 minute to go. Now corner 3, Burgess, big shot for VCU.
And that was a great look away too by Briante Weber. He looked like he was going to the right side, had his guy over in the left wing.
Burgess averages 4 points per game. He's got 11 tonight, a huge 3 there. Now Walker hangs for 3, no good off the mark. Reddick can't get the rebound, and it will stay with the Lumberjacks.
Here's the pass, great find in the corner. Oh, I caught it in rhythm, terrific look.
Now they're going to go to the monitor to review who that ball went off of. They can do that inside 2 minutes. An official review with 35.4 on the clock. 1 timeout remaining for Stephen F. Austin, 2 for VCU. And we'll get another look at it here.
And it looks like it's going to be VCU's ball. That would be my call.
The original call is Stephen F. Austin ball. So they'd have to have enough to turn it over. Enough conclusive evidence.
Yeah, tough to get. You can't really tell from that angle. Yeah. The first look, I think this look was the best look. Yeah, it looks like it goes off of Desmond Heyman. It looks like he's the last one to touch it.
Ted Valentine, Terry Oglesby, and Chris Beaver, the officials here in San Diego for this game. And it's going to stay with Stephen F. Austin. Teddy Valentine always a man on a mission out there.
Well, and the good thing was a quick, decisive decision. They didn't linger over it for a couple of minutes.
35.4 on the clock. 6-point game. Parker makes it a 4-point game. Full court pressure from the Jacks. And Graham has to call a timeout. One timeout left for each team coming down to the wire in San Diego. 65-61 in favor of VCU, the 12-5 matchup in the South region. Winner takes on the winner of our late game tonight in San Diego between UCLA and Tulsa.
Both teams one timeout left. Still in the 1-and-1 situation, neither in the double bonus yet. You here go for that quick steal and get the quick foul.
Stephen F. Austin has turned the ball over 16 times, 10 turnovers for VCU, and the Jacks need one here. Oh, and they almost had it, but a foul is called. The Lumberjacks coaches cannot believe it.
Well, and the great thing about their backcourt, and that may have reason to be upset about that. I think it was that left hand in the back that got the foul called. Absent that, it would have been a clean play. But awfully close. But you've got a backcourt out there that shoots 80% from the free throw line, so solid in the end game situation for Lewis and Weber.
So Lewis at the line for a 1-and-1. He's 3 for 3 at the line tonight, and he's got 10 points off the bench. And he makes the first.
See if they run that. Let's see if the Jacks run that little play, that pick and pop for Jacob Parker to get a good look at a three. It worked a few possessions ago.
Does not get the second to go down. A 5-point game, 30 seconds remain. Heyman to the hoop. Floater is good. Timeout, Brad Underwood. Final timeout of the game for Stephen F. Austin. It's a one-possession game. VCU up by 3. The Lumberjacks are out of timeouts. One remains for VCU with 23.9 on the clock. It's a 3-point ball game. And you would expect that Stephen F. Austin will apply that full court pressure again, Mike, and see if they can try to turn over VCU. If not, send them to the line.
Yeah, and I like the fact, too, that it was a quick hitter. You didn't need the 3 first. It didn't matter when that came. So the quick hitting 2, and you can still play the foul game. They're still in the 1-and-1.
Graham to Weber. And he's fouled from behind by Walker. So Weber will go to the line.
Yeah, nice job, VCU, throwing over the top. Obviously, you want one of those two guys, either Lewis or Weber, to receive the basketball. Your best free throw shooters by far out on the floor. It's still in a 1-on-1. This first free throw, the critical. No, now it's 2. I'm sorry, that was the 10th.
That was the 10th. So 2 for Weber, number 2. And he misses the first. No timeouts left for Stephen F. Austin. Will it be a 1 or 2 possession game when they come down the floor? 2. A 4-point game, 21.4 to play. Connor Brooks checks in for SFA.
An interesting, Virginia Commonwealth still pushing up the floor a little bit. They're going to make SFA take some time getting this ball up the floor.
Heyman carries into the front court. Heyman sees an opening to the hoop. Can't get it to go. And the rebound to VCU, out of bounds to the Rams.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a good opportunity. Just shorted it. There's the look. And this just, it opened up. And nice job. Weber stepping in at the last second to make him veer off the left. Made him miss that shot.
Tough day for Heyman, 3 of 8 from the floor, 11.8 on the clock. They get it into Burgess. He's fouled right away. Jordan Burgess, a 71% free throw shooter, has not been to the line tonight. Second foul on walk-up. What a year for Stephen F. Austin. 28 straight wins. They have not lost since November. It's the second longest active streak, of course, behind undefeated Wichita State. Just their second NCAA appearance. And this has been a back-and-forth game with VCU. But the Rams will try to put this one away at the line. 2 shots for Jordan Burgess. First one won't go. VCU 7 out of 10 from the line tonight. But they've missed 3 of their last 4. Make it 4 or 5. Walk up. Kick out, Heyman. Down! And it's good! A chance for 4 and the tie!
What an incredible turn of events. The great find by Walkup outside. Lewis can't believe it.
VCU has called timeout with 3.6 on the clock. That's their final timeout. It'll give Heyman some time to think about this free throw, which he needs to tie the game. Another look as Jaquan Lewis called for the foul. He couldn't believe it. But Heyman, who's been cold in this game, cold-blooded right there.
Well, rule number 1, defend without fouling in that situation. A 4-point game. But still not over. Heyman 65% at the line, and still plenty of time for VCU to get a rush up the floor with 3.6 left.
Lewis in the huddle as Shaka Smart draws up a play. Meanwhile, Heyman will go to the line where he's 3 out of 4 tonight. One more look at this huge shot from Heyman.
5 white jerseys converge on walk-up inside, and then out of control, rushing out on the jump shooter.
Brad Underwood told us yesterday that Heyman is their inspirational leader. He's the guy that talks to the team in the huddle. He leads their team prayer before every game. Brad Underwood said Desmond Heyman is one of the big reasons we went 31-2 this year. And now he's had some time to think about this one free throw that he needs to tie the game. No timeouts left for either team. Tied up, 67 all. Graham will inbound with 3.6 on the clock. He's got nobody to throw it to. Gets it to Mo Alley Cox. Back to Graham. Puts it up at the buzzer. Over the basket, and we're going to overtime. Stephen F. Austin has sent this game to OT, the 6th overtime game of this 2014 NCAA tournament. The 4-point play, and we've got bonus basketball in San Diego. Put 5 minutes on the clock. We're not done in this 12-5 matchup in the South region because of Desmond Heyman. Down by 4, puts up the 3, and the foul from Jaquan Lewis. Heyman makes the free throw. The attempt at the buzzer off the mark for VCU, and we go to overtime. This 6th overtime game of this NCAA tournament. There were 2 overtime games combined in the last 2 prior NCAA tournaments.
Now you've got 2 different situations. You have a re-energized Stephen F. Austin, and Shaka Smart had to mend some mend some wounds in that timeout.
Stephen F. Austin controls the tip. Each team gets one timeout for the overtime. And Heyman can't finish inside, neither can Parker. And VCU corrals it, Reddick.
Two great opportunities gone missing.
This crowd is charged up in San Diego. And still one more to go, Tulsa and UCLA to follow.
Lumberjacks staying in that zone defense.
8 on the shot clock for the Rams. Lewis, back out Weber. They swing it to Graham. Straightaway 3 is short. Rebound to Lewis. And now a corner 3 is good for Burgess.
Second three's hit from that corner, and again, rebounding a little bit problematic out of a zone. You get that rebound and a second chance, you're scattered, you often get a good look from 3.
Burgess has 14. His career high is 18, set earlier this year against Northern Iowa. And a foul is called on Javante Reddick. Third foul on Reddick.
Yeah, really, really terrific look. Great catch it, caught it in rhythm, went straight up. Obviously feels very confident from that left corner.
And that'll send Parker to the line. 18 points tonight for Jacob Parker, the Southland Conference Player of the Year. Some tense moments on that bench. Just the second NCAA tournament appearance for Stephen F. Austin. Lost in 2009 to Syracuse. Parker goes 2 of 2 at the line. And Gajic checks back in. Deshaun Walker to the bench.
Well, I talk about resilient too. How many times late in that second half could they have just wilted and gone away, but really executed well in the last 3 minutes. Some big missed free throws by the Rams down the stretch too, opening, giving them a little glimmer of hope.
Burgess again, not this time, and Parker the rebound. SFA down by 1. Heyman drives. Off the front of the rim, offensive rebound to walk up, and he's fouled on the rebound.
Deontay Weber, trip.
Stephen F. Austin has the shortest starting lineup in the NCAA tournament. That was the 6'4" walk-up getting that offensive rebound. And as Brad Underwood told us yesterday, we don't have big guys, so we have to try to find ways to create plays in the paint. Points and rebounds, and walk-up found a way there. And he ties the game at 70.
Well, they talk about him having point guard skills and power in a power forward's body. And he certainly showed the point guard skills part of it by creating that game-tying shot.
First lead for SFA since it was 43-41 earlier in the second half. We've now got 3 minutes to go in overtime.
Interesting to see now how the Rams react to being behind for the first time in a long while.
Graham with him 3. Book it! Travion Graham knocks it down. VCU back in front. And here's the full court pressure. They get it into walk up, and now VCU will retreat.
What's interesting is overtime, they've taken the press off a little bit and stayed more in the half court.
Pinkney trying to get around the screen. Now he'll reset with 13 on the shot clock. 2:08 to go in OT. Heyman for 3. Yes! Desmond Heyman! Another clutch 3. And the Lumberjacks back on top by 1.
Boy, he has shrugged off a tough night, and it has been just terrific in the last 5 minutes.
He's got 17. Lewis, baseline, took a bump. Burgess, corner 3, won't go down. And the rebound to Heyman.
Missed his last 2 from that corner after hitting 2.
90 seconds to go in OT.
It has not been the same pressure for VCU in the half court here. Stephen F. Austin's been able to run some offense.
Ten to shoot. Pinckney, not a shooter. Nearly goes to the ground. Now throws it away right to Parker, though. 5 on the shot clock. Parker hits! Everything going in favor of the Lumberjacks right now. 1 minute to go in OT. Remember, VCU's best three-point shooter has not played today. Melvin Johnson out with a sprained knee. Lewis, baseline, too easy.
Yeah, actually Reddick set a little bit of a screen and created a path to the basket for him. Here, back to the pressure.
Walk up, tied up. Jump ball, possession arrow favors VCU. Welcome to Havoc.
I was wondering where it went for a couple of minutes.
Each team with 1 timeout. There is a difference of 2 seconds between game clock and shot clock. Shaka Smart directing traffic from the VCU bench. It's Graham with the ball.
Just no movement against the zone. Graham just dribbling out front.
Weber inside, tied up, and he turns it over, and then he commits the foul. 14 seconds left in OT. Jacob Parker from Bixby, Oklahoma, making the big defensive play for Stephen F. Austin. Now critical free throws.
Well, and then the question, what this brings in, he makes them. It's a 3-point game. You decide to foul. Ooh, big miss on the front end.
I know where you were going with that.
Yeah, you get the 3-point lead, do you take the foul? But that's not an option at this point.
One more for Thomas Walkup. Gets it to go. 2-point game, 14 seconds left in OT.
Nobody in foul trouble here. I think you go for the tie and try to extend.
And Shaka Smart will call his only timeout of overtime. What a game here in San Diego. SFA up by 2. 1 timeout left for Stephen F. Austin. A look back at the 2 clutch shots here in the overtime. First, Heyman with the 3. And then with the shot clock winding down, Parker threw one up, and Jacob Parker connects.
That was a turnover waiting to happen, and somehow Pinckney made a play out of it. But here's the thing. You can't foul in this situation, Andrew. You've got to keep people in front of you, not let them get into the paint area, make them win over the top.
A foul is 2 shots. 10 seconds left in OT. VCU with the ball down 2. Weber drives, kick out Lewis for 3. Won't go down. Rebound to Stephen F. Austin, and that'll do it. Ball game. Stephen F. Austin with its first ever NCAA tournament win. Stephen F. Austin trailed by 10 points with 3:30 to go in the second half, and they come back to win in OT.
What a gutty, resilient end of the game by Stephen F. Austin. I think they hung in there. It looked like they were going to wilt against the pressure. made some big shots down the stretch, and what an improbable victory and a terrific, well-earned victory.
And the winning streak is still alive. 29 in a row for the Lumberjacks. And Otis Livingston is at midcourt.
Coach, welcome to March Madness. Tell me your feelings as Desmond was letting that ball go at the end of regulation.
I thought for a second I've seen this before. Desmond did the same thing in a game at Marshall early in the year. This team has so much resiliency. They never quit. There's not enough adjectives to say how I feel, and I'm so happy for our seniors, our program, our school. The never quit attitude that this team has is something that is so special. I can't say enough about Desmond. I thought Thomas Walkup, Jacob Parker were spectacular, and we didn't shoot the ball. We didn't play very well the second half, but a lot of that was due to their habit.
You guys went down double figures in the second half, and it looked bleak late. Talk about the intestinal fortitude of this basketball team to go toe-to-toe with Havoc and then to pull off the victory in overtime.
It's been that way all year. I wish I could explain it. This team has a mental toughness. They have a focus that is second to no one. They have a mindset of never giving in, never quitting. And it all starts with Desmond, our senior, and I can't say enough. It's a special, special feeling.
All right, thanks a lot. Go enjoy the victory. Desmond, how's it happen, man? You shake off a rough game and you end up hitting that game-tying 4-point play at the end of the game. Talk about the way you felt about yourself, the confidence you had.
I just know with my faith in God, and we just continue keeping our composure that we'll be okay. We have a great leadership with our team, and we just kept telling them to stay playing SFA basketball and keep our composure.
Talk about that shot, though, when you let it go. Did you know it was going to be a 4-point play opportunity? Did it feel like it was going to go in?
I just know I had to let it go. I knew this was my last year, and I didn't want to go out like that way. So Thomas made a great play and drew the defense and made a great pass, and it was a good shot.
Do you have time now to put that behind you and think about the possibility of playing against a UCLA team or a Tulsa in the third round?
We just coming to play. Both of them great basketball team. We just have to come playing every night. It's up for grabs for us right now.
How special is it for you to get the first NCAA victory in Stephen F. Austin University history?
Feel great. Coach, he always tell us to dream big, and once we finally got in the tournament, we said we're not done dreaming yet, and we just told everybody just come ready to play and just continue playing SFA basketball.
All right, great effort today, and congratulations. Guys, back to you.
Here's a look at the final attempt for VCU. Jaquan Lewis had a good look, would not go down, and again, the undersized Lumberjacks fighting for every rebound. Walkup comes away with that one, and the party is on for the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin. Saw some great scenes during Otis Livingston's interview in the SFA locker room, and yes, a 12 seed beats a 5. Stephen F. Austin on to Sunday's third round against the winner of our late game here in San Diego between UCLA and Tulsa. Heyman had the game-tying 4-point play and the go-ahead field goal in overtime. For Mike Jaminski and Otis Livingston, I'm Andrew Catalan saying so long from San Diego. Coming up on True TV, Tulsa and UCLA. We'll send it to our studio right after these messages.